You're listening to Success Stalkers Radio, episode number 10 with Layon Gray. Welcome to Success Stalkers Radio. I am your host, Iona Garrett. People all over the globe are rewriting the rules to success. They're making money and changing the world. Join me Monday through Friday as I interview today's top entrepreneurs, business leaders, and entertainers that will leave you inspired to take action and achieve success on purpose. Are you ready? Let's dive right in. Okay, Success Stalkers, let's get started. I'm your host, Iona Garrett, and this is another episode of Success Stalkers Radio. I am simply thrilled to introduce my guest today, Layon Gray. Layon, are you ready to stalk success today?
Yes, I am. Thank you for having me, Iona.
You're welcome. You are so welcome, and thank you for being on the show today. Native of Louisiana and theatrical artist on the rise, Layon Gray is captivating audiences with each and every play he writes. Since founding the Layon Gray Experience, he has guided the company's growth from a privately held theater company to being one of the entertainment industry's leading independent companies and a veritable box office force. He has quickly ascended as Los Angeles' premier playwright, earning more than 60 nominations and awards for his works since 2000. Among some of the honors he's been given are the NYC Inspire Award, Al Sharpton Man of Vision Award, Best Director Award, Art of the Year Award, and many NAACP awards, Best Producer and Best Play awards. So Layon, I've given our listeners just a little overview. So take a minute. Tell us about you personally, because we want to get to know you. Then give us an overview of your business and your success path.
Okay. Well, again, thank you for having me. And like you said earlier, I'm originally from Louisiana, so I don't think I have an accent, but everybody keeps telling me I still have my accent there out here on the East Coast. I try to keep it under control. You're in the entertainment industry. You got to be able to control it, you know. Oh, yeah. But I'm a theater producer, writer, director, and you know, you pretty much summed it up in the interview. You know, I've won various awards, and you know, I feel blessed to have had an opportunity to share my stories with the world on the East and the West Coast.
Awesome. I'll tell you, when I saw your bio, I was just blown away. I was like, wow. I knew you were doing a lot of things, but I didn't realize how much you've actually done. And I tell you, I follow you on Facebook, and I'm just, sometimes I love all your posts. I love your videos, everything you do, and I'm just like, wow, he is just enjoying life, having a blast at what he's doing. I love it. That's what it's all about. So, Layon, we're gonna dive, way into your journey a little later in the interview. But before we do, we always like to start Success Stalkers Radio off with a success quote to really get that motivational ball rolling. So take it away.
Well, there are several quotes that I really love. Several by my favorite poet, Rumi, but there's one that has really, really, touched me as of lately, and it goes, listen to your inner genius. Those who do often end up changing the world. And, and I always say we all have that inner genius inside of us, that inner voice that tells us things, but we always have that other thing on our shoulder saying you can't do it and you can't. So if we listen to those things and understand and interpret our dreams and visions and goals, we could put them into action.
Right. So tell me, Layon, explain, if you can, just give us a little example of how you've applied, that same mantra on your journey.
Oh, wow. Well, I have a play running right now in New York City called Black Angels over Tuskegee. It's about the Tuskegee Airmen, and the show began in Los Angeles back in 2008. And I'd always had a vision of taking it to New York City, and, you always have those people telling you can't do it. New York is a major city. There are 300,000 plays going on every day. What makes you think your little play could sustain New York City? And I was like, well, excuse me. It's like, well, the subject about the Tuskegee Airmen, there had never been a stage play about the airmen. So right there off the bat, I know it'll be an interesting topic. And again, those people saying, well, you can't do it, you can't do it. I say, you know what? I'm going to do it. So I put all my little money in a hat, and I talked to the actors in L.A., and I spoken to a producer, and he was like, well, you could do it. I have space in my venue for 2 weeks. It's $30,000 for 2 weeks. I'm like, whoa, $30,000 for 2 weeks. Are you kidding me? So I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to do it. So we did it. We came, and we just hit the streets. You know, the actors and myself hit the pavement, telling everybody about this incredible play, because we didn't have the money or the marketing to, really compete against these other Broadway shows with their multi-million-dollar budgets. So we hit the streets, in uniforms and just talking, passing out flyers and stuff. And it became an instant hit. In 4 days, we made all that money back. And that was in 2010. And here we are now, still rocking and rolling in New York City in year 5 going on in the city. So
phenomenal.
Yes. Listening to my inner mind, saying, you know what, don't listen to these people telling you can't do it. Go out and do it yourself.
Right.
And made
Absolutely. I'm so glad you did. So glad you didn't do that. That is just phenomenal. Well, basically what we're going to do here, I want to dive a little bit deeper, okay, into your story and your journey, because here at Success Talkers Radio, that's what we're really about getting into the heart of your journey. And so what I want to do is, if we can, just focus first on a failure, a time in your life where you fell flat on your face. And I want you to take us there to that moment. Make us feel like we're there with you, and share with us some lessons that you learned from that failure.
Wow. I mean, that's a great question, because throughout my life, I've had numerous failures in love, life, and just living. In relation to my business and what I do, I was doing theater in Louisiana back in the early 90s. 97, 98, and I had a lot of success in Louisiana. So I was like, you know what, I want to try to take this to Los Angeles. So I moved to LA in 99, and I immediately, rented a venue, took all the money I saved up. And no, I didn't know anybody in LA. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know how to market a play or anything. So I put all my money into this venue, and no marketing things, thinking people was going to come. And pay for everything, actors. I mean, I really put a lot of money into it, and of course, it flopped. Here I am broke, like, man, what am I going to do now? I have no more money. I was just about to move into a new apartment. So I took steps back, and I started going to theater companies in Los Angeles to find out, how they promote their plays, what they did, how they work their advertising with limited budgets. So I really, really learned in that aspect of how to really produce in LA. That's what really taught me how to produce when I fell on my butt and was like pretty much homeless for about 3 to 4 weeks, staying in my car and everything. So it taught me a lot. It taught me how, and especially in the entertainment industry, because you depend so much on people coming out to support your pieces and stuff. And in Louisiana, I had that following. I had a huge following, especially on my university campus and around the city. And that just didn't translate to L.A. because it was like, who's this new kid trying to do a show, And fell on my butt, but I got up, dusted myself off, started saving more money, got like 3 jobs to try to build that back up. And then the next show that I put on, I learned from going visiting these companies around the city and how they worked it. Because you got to remember, in 99, there wasn't any Facebook and all that type of stuff.
True, so, exactly. You're right.
Like now it's social media, so you could put a play up and what is going on Facebook or, your website, etc. And, and people instantly come and they know, but back then it wasn't, So I had to learn the process of doing that now, going to all these companies, putting up flyers in their buildings, going to acting classes and personally passing flyers to each student who come out to come see my show. So it's much of a on-the-ground foot soldier type of thing. And I learned and it taught me.
Wow. I really felt like I was right there with you. That's And I'm sure it's something that you'll never ever forget.
I will never forget
what a
that.
lesson.
I will never forget that moment. I fell on my face in that moment. Like, wow, this is going to be difficult. And at times I was like, man, should I, where should I go from here? And that's and when I spoke about that quote earlier, my inner mind, that inner genius saying, you can do this.
Mm-hmm.
Put it in your mind. You know how. Just put it together and create it.
Right. And you obviously have turned that failure into some major success. So that's kind of segues us into my next question here is, I want to move a little forward and transition to the other end of the spectrum, the aha moment, that light bulb moment, because like you've had lessons that you've learned from failures, you've also had some amazing ideas, that's helped you become successful. So, tell us one of those aha moments, or a story that you can remember, and take us there with you. Again, we want the story. Make us feel like we're there. And once you do that, then also let us know how you turn that light bulb moment into some success.
Well, in as a writer in the stories I want to create, coming up, I had a lot of opportunities, especially in like 2000, not 2000, like 90, 2000, 2001, of creating plays. Like there's this thing of people now, this flux of people writing gospel plays, and it's like the easy way. So everybody's a playwright these days. You write a play about
right.
you write a play about God, and then you put it up, and then people say they're a playwright. I didn't want to go that route. I didn't want to, even though I would like to say that's an easier route to go through in telling stories, and you almost guaranteed an audience.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to do that. I'm a risk taker, and I wanted to try something different. And in 2003, I wrote a play about my family's history. Meet Me at the Oak. It was set in 1955. It was about a hanging tree that was used, and it's a true story. It's about a tree that was used for lynching back in during slavery, and members of my family would carve the name on slaves who had been hung from the tree. They would slice their wrists or some part of their body to create blood and carve that name on the tree. And I remember,
oh my,
a powerful story. And as a kid, I asked my uncle, about the tree, because now it's a stump just sitting in the front yard, and he broke down crying and explained that to me. And in 2003, that just popped in my mind, because I was like, man, I want to write something unique. I want to write a creative story, but I don't want to do the gospel route that everyone else is doing, because that just doesn't move me in that way. And that's when I sat down. And I talked to him, my uncle, my father, and everyone, and I wrote Meet Me at the Oak, and set 1955. And that play went on to win numerous awards in Los Angeles. And in that moment right there, I knew people wanted to, they wanted something different. They wanted to hear different type of stories. And right in that moment, my aha moment was like, aha, I should create stories from the past, history, things that people don't know about, or things that people know about or have forgotten about. So that's when I started taking my path on creating these incredible stories that, are from different generations, and bring those to life.
Wow. Now I can understand now, because I've seen a lot of the titles of the plays that you've done, and of course I haven't been to any yet, so I got to get up to New York quick so I can come and see one of your plays. But I can understand now, you sharing that story, because I noticed a lot of the plays were, based upon a time in the past, and I was like, oh wow, it looks like a really great play. So yeah, that's so interesting. Wow. What a powerful legacy and history you have in your family.
Yes, it was. It was so powerful just to hear him explain, all those moments that happened with my ancestors, and I was like, what, I got to put this on paper. I got to tell it.
How did your family feel about that?
They were moved. Because that was the first time. That was actually the first time I actually sat down and wrote something that truly, truly meant something to other people more than myself. And for me, as an artist, as a writer, as a storyteller, there's nothing can top being able to tap into someone's emotions, whether it's, happiness, or take them back to a time when they were sad. Nothing can top that as a storyteller. And, I like to pride myself on telling those unique stories that people can really, really, really take in and let them touch. Even though, like a lot of my plays are about African American and African American experience and their struggles and their triumphs, I create my works to whereas any nationality can relate to it. Like in New York City, the Tuskegee Airmen story, anybody can relate to, these gentlemen, these underdogs trying to succeed. 70% of our audiences in New York are white, and it's a story of these 8 African American men. Because I don't just create it just about black people. I write it in a way that everybody can truly understand what's going on.
Wow, that's why I see why you've gotten so many awards. You deserve it.
Thank
it.
You.
I can't wait till I can get up to New York and come in and check out some of your plays, and hopefully I can get a chance to catch Tuskegee Airmen, because I really wanted to see that one. Black Angels over. What is it? Is Black Angels
over Tuskegee?
Tuskegee. Do you think you'll ever turn those into movies?
Well, it's interesting that you asked that question, because they just did Red Tails, which was about the airmen, and Tuskegee Black Angels was out before Red Tails came out.
I remember
when we
that.
when we were doing the show in LA, a lot of their producers came to watch the play a couple times, and so I've written a movie version of it. But because of Red Tails, it may take some time now for the movie to actually come out. I would really love to see it on the small screen on television, so, kids and everybody could sit in their living room and watch it.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
My story, Black Angels over Tuskegee, is different than the movie. Red Tails focuses a lot on the things they've done in the air and the planes, whereas my play focuses a lot on the family members, the people they left behind to go and fight for a country at a time, who consider them really less than human. So it's more of a personal story.
Oh, wow. That's even more fascinating. Well, let's shift for just a second, Layon. What I want to do is shine the spotlight on you. And, I want you to share with our audience, what is your proudest entrepreneurial moment, or what's one of the proudest moments that you can say to date that you've experienced along your journey?
Wow, what's one of my proudest moments? Man, relating
so many, huh?
it to, well, just one, coming down, how, we put family first and everything. We have that cultural upbringing to where it's a community raises a family. And for me, in relating it to Black Angels over Tuskegee, because this is, the piece it's been running 5 years right now currently. And, it really touches me. And I would say one of the proudest moments, two in relation to this play. The first time we did the show in Las Vegas back in 2009, it was at the Tuskegee Airmen, their Las Vegas convention. And most of them, most of them are dying in their 80s and 90s. But at this time, there were at least about 70 of them still left of the original, and they all were at this event. And their wives were there, and this was the first time the play was being performed for the airmen, so I was nervous. I'm like,
I'm sure you were.
I'm like, wow, they're going to hate this play. What's going on? I don't know. So at the end of the show, when we ended the curtain call and everyone, it was a total silence. I'm like, oh, man, oh, no. And then all of a sudden, there was a roar of applause. And when the lights came up, they were all on their feet, standing and clapping. Their wives were crying. Everyone was in tears. Yeah, and one of the airmen, he came up and he was like, Layon, we've heard our story told numerous times, but finally somebody got it right. You got it right.
Oh,
and in that
wow.
moment, I was like, wow, are you kidding me? Wow. And he gave me a hug and he just broke down in tears. And the play has received numerous, awards and great reviews, but nothing will ever touch that moment when that Tuskegee Airman came up and told me that I told that story right.
I'm sure. Oh my God. Wow. I know you couldn't hold back the tears.
Oh no,
That
crying. It was. Oh man, it was great.
Oh my wow. I feel like I'm when you were telling that story, I felt like I was right there. That's awesome. That's so awesome. What a blessing,
Mm,
you know. So what I want to do next is, we both know because you're an entrepreneur, even though you're an actor, you're a playwright, or you're an entrepreneur, and you know what I mean by that because you are your own brand. And as an entrepreneur myself, I also understand this, and you do too, that it's a roller coaster sometimes
right.
of emotions, that you're going through as an entrepreneur, and you can be up today next 24 hours or 48 hours, you can be down and, frustrated, ready to quit. So
Right.
if you can, Leon, tell our audience, how you keep your focus. How do you keep that end result in mind each day?
Well, I have a good a social base of people who I trust. It's and because I am a writer, my writing depends on a lot of other things to make happen. So it's not just me. It's like I'm the creator of the product, but I have to give it
Mhm.
to actors and to really make it fly in order for other people to come and want to pay their money to see it. So I have a great social base that I trust. I'll create something. I'll email these people the script, and they give me their honest feedback on certain things. So I'm fortunate to have that great social base of people who I can trust. And for the most part, it's just I would say uh, we get in our own way sometimes, and not just living in the moment and letting it happen, letting it play out. And I had to learn that. I had to get out of my own way and just let things happen.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
I've gotten in my way many times.
Right, right, right.
And,
I think we all
you know,
do sometimes. We overthink things when it's the most simplest answer in the world.
true. That another aha light bulb moment, right?
Right.
No, no, because I know that, you have some amazing projects going on, currently. Are there any new things you got brewing up that you could tell us about?
Well, actually, I'm in the process of finishing up a new show that's opening next month, and it's another moment in history about what folks don't know. What's opening in July that people don't know about. It's called the Harlem Wrens, and it's about the 1933 all-black basketball team of Harlem, and these guys were the trendsetters of the NBA. It's like they set a lot of rules that are still happening, a lot of records that are still happening. Now they were like 1,000, and they won 1,000 games and lost like three.
Come
And
on.
yeah, they were incredible, and no one knows that story. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar just did a documentary on it 2 years ago called "On the Giants of Shoulders," which touched these gentlemen. And I was like, wow, this will be a fascinating play to really put people in the seats to really see how incredible these men were. So I got that opening up next month. I'm really excited about that one too.
I know you are. So when is it gonna open?
July 6th.
July 6th. Okay,
Yes.
good deal.
And off Broadway in New York City, yeah, and it's great because it's, I'm writing in New York City. It happened in Harlem, so I have a couple meetings with a couple of organizations in Harlem. So we're trying to do this whole unity thing, this collaboration to really get this story out about these incredible gentlemen. Cab Calloway played.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh
Paul
wow.
Robeson, a lot of these gentlemen who we know from our history who were incredible entertainers, Duke Ellington, all these guys played basketball and no one knows.
Oh my God. I
Yeah,
had no idea.
right.
I had no idea.
And I had no idea either until I started doing research. I'm like, wow, this is incredible. Because we know these guys, Cap Calloway, hidey, 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 ho,
Right,
from that.
right.
But no one knows
Yeah.
all their stuff before they begin doing all of that. So, and I love telling those stories. I love it.
That's remarkable. That is absolutely remarkable. Wow. So you're loving New York, huh?
Yeah, I'm really loving New York. Well, it's starting to get a little hot right now. I don't know if I'm ready for that heat. But I'll take the heat over the cold weather any day.
Yeah, I'm sure. Think about it. Come on, I'm in Louisiana. We both know what heat is really
Oh yeah,
like.
that's true. That's true. That's true.
Oh yeah, and it's already hot here. Trust me. So anyway, I want to transition a little. We're going to kind of, transition to the next segment of this interview and get to the success round. And basically, what that's about, it's really my favorite part of the interview. And what I'm going to do is throw some questions at you, Leon, and I want you to throw them back at me and give me some knockout answers. How about that? Is that okay?
All right.
All right, good deal. Well, what is it that held you back in the beginning, initially, before becoming an entrepreneur?
Wow. Well, what, the same old thing, money, 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 money. That's what. That's the first thing that people tend to think of. And going out to pursue something. But then I just figured out. So you know what? I'm just going to create the work and then see what happens. And that's what I did. I said I'm going to create incredible. I'm going to write incredible pieces, and then see if people will volunteer to want to be in it. And that's what happened. I would create a great show, and I could say, hey, I want to be a part of this. I volunteer my time, and then that's how I really got kicked up into doing things.
Right, because sometimes people will let money stop them from living their dreams, and that's something that I had to learn as an early as an entrepreneur is that you just got to get started, and the money will
Hmm.
come. It all you figure it out along the way. It always
Right.
happens.
Exactly. That is so true. You figure it out on the way.
So, what is the best business advice you've ever received?
Oh, pretty much what you said earlier. Get out of my own way. Get out of my way and just let it happen. Don't stress the little things.
Yeah. Next question, and that's good advice. So, can you share one of your daily personal habits that you believe attributes to your success, something that you do on a daily basis?
Well, I try to live everything in a positive way, and I wake up every morning and just start. I said today is going to be my best day yet, and I truly believe that because tomorrow isn't promised to any of us. I love living in the moment, and I love that living every day to the fullest.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you there. Well, do you have an internet resource or a business tool that you use on a daily basis, something that you could, share with our listeners?
Well, my daily tool is like just all as a writer. What I do is I just research every day. Looking in my favorite tools, looking on the National Archives site to just find out information because like I said, there's so much information we don't know about, and it just amazes me when I just go through all of these databases and read some of this information. And I'm like, wow, why didn't I learn this in school? This wasn't taught to me. And I learn something new every day. And I'm like, well, I don't know about it. There's probably thousands and thousands of other people who don't know about it. Why not tell them about it?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure a lot of us don't know about it. You almost feel cheated, huh?
I do, and it's like the Tuskegee Airmen story because it's not in history books. And it's a shame that these kids today don't know about these airmen. And whenever we do the show for kids, how many of you guys ever heard of the Tuskegee Airmen? It's like none of them because it's not in history books. And these gentlemen, they still hold records to this very day about how great they were as airmen in the 40s.
Right. They made such an incredible mark on the world really, and it should
Mm-hmm.
be in history books, and it is a shame that it's not. It really is. But I'm glad that you are putting the message out there.
Mm.
And I'm proud of you for doing that.
Thank
So,
you.
you're welcome. Well, what book would you recommend to our listeners?
Oh wow, I love reading. You know what? There's an interesting book called Daring Greatly. It's by a motivational speaker named Brene Brown. And what it's about is it's about embracing your vulnerability and your imperfections. We all look at vulnerability as a weakness when it's not. It's the core. It's the heart. It's the center. It's the meaningful of our human experiences because without vulnerability, there can be no love, there can be no achievement, and also there can be no greatness. So we are acknowledging our fear, is one how we can usually conquer it. I mean, it's a beautiful book about vulnerability. I love it.
Okay. I'm gonna have to get that, Leon.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
Darren
definitely read
Great.
that.
Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. She's a wonderful motivational speaker.
Good deal. Well, our last question in the success round is: I want you to imagine for just a moment, Layon, that you woke up tomorrow morning in a brand new world, identical to Earth, but you knew no one. And you still have all the same experience and knowledge that you currently have today. And let's say your food is taken care of, your shelter's taken care of, but all you have is a laptop and $500. What would you do in the next 7 days?
Well, you give me a laptop. I'm a writer. All I need is a laptop. That's all.
That's all you need.
You can keep your $500. No, but wow! In a whole new world, $500. I can only imagine $500 won't go too far in a whole new world. But you know, writing, creating, finding out what this new world is about. Because, like I said, I love telling story. I love telling history. So I will find out exactly where I'm at and how I can write something that will touch this new world in a way that they haven't been touched before, and give that $500 to the young kids of that generation.
Oh, that is so awesome. That's so good. That's a great answer. I love it. Well, Layon, hearing your journey today has truly been inspiring to me, and I'm sure to all of our listeners. And let's end this with you giving our success stalkers one parting piece of guidance and advice. Then share the best way they can find you, and then we'll say goodbye.
Well, you're gonna always have people telling you can't do this and you can't do that. Again, it goes into what we talked about earlier about listening to your inner genius. Don't let anyone tell you can't do anything. Be strong. There was a excerpt from a speech that Teddy Roosevelt gave in 1910, and it inspires me daily. It's called Man in the Arena. I say Man in the Mirror. It's called Man in the Arena, and I'd like to share it with your listeners if you don't mind.
Sure, absolutely. Okay. Go ahead. Please.
All right, this is called Man in the Mirror. It was by Teddy Roosevelt from an excerpt he gave. And it goes, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there's no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place should never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat."
Wow. I need a copy of that.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
It's powerful. I mean, it inspires me every day. Just the last little thing, he says, without those timid souls.
I need a copy of that.
It's an excerpt by Teddy Roosevelt called "The Man in the Arena." You probably can find it online. Anyway, I have it posted up
probably find it online.
In my office, and I look at it every day.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's why I said I need a copy of that for my office. That's good. Yeah, I'm gonna have to research that and get that. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that with our listeners. I really appreciate that. And it's just been a blessing to have you on the show today, Layon. I'm so glad we finally made it happen.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. This was awesome.
Good deal. And so how can our listeners find you?
You could go to my website at layongray.com, LAYONGRA.com. And on my website, you'll find about all my shows and everything that I have going on in New York City and Los Angeles.
Good deal. Well, I know that our listeners have gotten some great takeaways today and some really good nuggets and tips from you. And they can also find the links to everything that we are chatting about on our website at successstalkers.com/Layon Gray. And it will all be there in the show notes, there for them to basically see what we talked about today, and they can go back and listen to it, over and over again, and as well as on iTunes and SoundCloud as well. So All right. So we appreciate your time today, Layon, and thank you for being so generous with that time today and being transparent, with your journey. So we say thank you.
Well, thank you, Ion, and it's a wonderful thing what you're doing. Congratulations to you as well.
Thank you so much. And to all of our listeners out there, thank you for tuning in. And until our next episode, keep stalking success. Well, that'll do it for another episode of Success Stalkers Radio. If you'd like to hear more from these inspiring entrepreneurs and entertainers, be sure to subscribe to the Success Stalkers Radio podcast on iTunes. And if you found value in this episode, give us a review, hopefully 5 stars. You may also visit us at successstalkers.com. Leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you.